Yuri Petals, how you doing? It's your girl Lai-Dee Flegman and welcome back to my channel, where we are unapologetically naughty and have no intentions of toning it down. Love is a beautifully chaotic thing now, isn't it? I mean, think about it for a moment. Two individuals, each with their own unique personalities, dreams and baggage, come together and try to live as a unit. While sure, there's a ton of love, warmth and passion in a relationship, I mean there should be. If there's none of that, then maybe you're doing something wrong, but there's also plenty of room for misunderstandings, disagreements and even heartache. And while there's no universal formula for a perfect relationship, some couples have discovered a powerful tool to help them navigate these intricacies: the relationship contract. These unique blueprints of love, though often misunderstood or even stigmatized, I mean, insert any Sheldon and Amy clip from The Big Bang Theory,
I present to you the relationship agreement.
They can still be an invaluable tool in strengthening relationships. Now go grab a cuppa, get some snacks and make yourself comfy, cause here we go. But before we go any further, this video, like all my other videos, will be censored, so if you'd prefer to watch the uncensored version along with other exclusive content, then head over to the Patreon page, link for which is in the description. Thanking you all muchly. What is a relationship contract? First things first, what exactly is a relationship contract? Well, think of it as a personalised guidebook to your love story together as a couple. A relationship contract is a written agreement between partners outlining their mutual understandings, expectations and commitments to each other. It can cover an array of topics like communication, personal boundaries, financial responsibilities, future plans and so on. These agreements are as diverse as the couples who create them, ranging from the plainly simple to the intricately detailed. What it isn't though is a legal document. If you create a relationship contract and you break a rule, you won't be taken to court or fined. That's not what this is all about. It's simply a way for two people to show their love with fully informed consent, with the knowledge that everything is set in place. But why use one? There are many a reason one may want to use a relationship contract, but I've come up with a few key reasons that would cover most bases of why a couple might want to create one. Firstly, communication. While love is universal and communication styles differ wildly, a relationship contract encourages couples to communicate openly, because we all know that tutting and snorting are not effective ways to communicate, no matter how much Becky down the road swears by it. By putting everything in writing, you're prompted to basically lay everything out on the theoretical table. All your desires, expectations and concerns, but hopefully without judgment and misunderstanding. It can also help couples ensure that both parties have a shared understanding of what they can anticipate and expect from each other. Next up we have boundaries. Boundaries are essential in a relationship, but they also look different for everyone. A contract helps not just define what those boundaries are, but helps either side respect personal boundaries, whether that's physical or emotional boundaries. This can prevent misunderstandings and disappointments down the road. For example, if you expect your partner to be domesticated and toilet trained, then stipulate that. It's no one's fault but your own if you end up with a Neanderthal who pees on the seat if you didn't set this boundary in the first place. Then there's conflict resolution. Conflicts are inevitable in any relationship, not just Becky's down the road who's already chucked her partner out for the 7th time this week, and it's only Tuesday. It's how they're managed, however, that can make all the difference. And no, chucking all their clothes out of the bedroom window is not part of that. What it does include though is any strategies for resolving conflicts peacefully and constructively. For example, money matters are one of the leading causes of relationship conflicts, and a contract can help address financial responsibilities, help you set budgets and align both sides' financial dreams. And lastly, being able to share dreams together, whether that's starting a family, buying a house, pursuing further education, or that dream vacation you've been hinting at for the past 3 years now. It's a way to visualize the life you want to build together. This is a big thing in any serious relationship, and a contract enables couples to outline their individual and collective goals. For many, the act of creating a relationship contract becomes a bonding experience in of itself. It's a chance to sit down together and embark on an adventure of self-discovery and mutual understanding. It can be a time to share dreams and aspirations, lay bare fears for the future, and express wants and desires. In essence, a relationship contract is a declaration of your own commitment not only to each other, but also the growth and development of your relationship. It's a testament of your dedication to building a love story that stands the test of time. So, what's a contract? Now that I've talked about what a relationship contract is, let's talk about a SMEX contract. First things first, what exactly is a SMEX contract? Well, put simply, it's a consensual written agreement between two, or sometimes more, intimate partners that outlines the boundaries, desires and expectations within the bedroom, or outside of the bedroom. Much like the relationship contract, it's a way for couples to openly communicate about their intimate needs and desires to ensure they're on the same page. The idea is to promote consent, comfort, and a deep understanding of each other's desires. That could even include Becky's fella's desire for a menage a trois with Chloe around the corner. That doesn't sound very romantic. Yeah, I suppose it's not that romantic, but it's important to note that the concept of a SMEX contract isn't there to undermine the spontaneity or passion of a relationship. On the contrary, actually, it can enhance spontaneity by creating an environment of trust and understanding. When you and your boo are on the same page regarding your desires and boundaries, you can fully embrace the beauty of the intimate moments you both share together. It also empowers couples to express themselves fully, free of judgment or hesitation. It provides a structured way to communicate any intimate kinks and a platform for conversations that can be sensitive or even taboo in general society, but are essential for a satisfying and consensual SMEX life. Though Becky's fella will never get that he wants, no matter how much he hints. So, how do you create a relationship contract? So now that I've gone over what each one are and why couples may want to make one, let's talk about how you actually create a relationship or a SMEX contract. Well, they're meant to be personalised for each couple, but there are some basic topics and points that most will have. So let's go over the structure of a relationship contract first. We'll start with the introduction. In this section, you'll define the objective of the relationship contract. For example, to foster trust, communication, and overall a happy, healthy relationship. You can have a couple of sentences explaining it or a detailed paragraph. Choice is yours. Next up, we have communication. This section is important and can include regular check-ins. For example, once a month for a check-up and chat. You can also have conflict resolutions in this section also. Outline a strategy for handling disagreements, including any techniques you have for productive discussions. And no, the shouting match Becky and Darren have in the middle of the afternoon is not a productive form of discussion. Up next is personal boundaries, which is basically how you define your personal space, needs and boundaries within the relationship, be that physical, emotional or digital boundaries such as online interactions, social media behaviour and respecting each other's privacy. Kinda like how Becky doesn't let Darren heart other girls' pictures on Insta. Let's move on to quality time. This section can include date nights and activities you both like doing, and also personal space, including self-care for the both of you. It can include a list of hobbies that you both like to do and which ones you can do together. If you expect 4 date nights a week, then you need to express this desire to your boo. They're not mind readers, no matter how much Becky wants to believe it. Then there's financial responsibilities. In this section, mark out budgeting and financial goals and how you'll work together to achieve them. You can also define how you'll split household expenses and manage shared finances. You should also talk about long-term financial planning, savings and investment strategies. The next section is a big one for some couples as it helps set boundaries for family and relatives. You should express boundaries and expectations concerning family visitors, holidays and involvement. And don't forget about friendships, including pre-existing and new friendships. Discuss how new friends will be introduced into the relationship. For example, it's perfectly fine to want boundaries with the mother-in-law, so long as it's not negatively impacting on your partner. Something Becky still really needs to work on. Now this section, while yes is a whole nother type of contract, but intimacy is still a major part of the relationship contract. In this section, you want to include boundaries and desires, and of course have open discussions about anything specific that is related to your intimate life. You could also include a section for future plans. This one could be sectioned into different aspects like life goals, future plans, having children, if that's applicable for you both. This can then also be sectioned into parenting styles, shared values and timelines on when and how you both want to raise the gremlins. Personal growth and career are both great sections to go into a relationship contract. You can talk about your individual career goals, ambitions, and you can support each other. And if further education is on the horizon for either of you, you can discuss them plans here too. Now if you're a couple that lives together, house rules and responsibilities is another great section to include in your contract. You can create a list of chores and responsibilities and define a clear division for who does what. A great example of this is the bins debate, or garbage for you Americans watching, and who will take up the terrible task. You can also set rules for maintaining a harmonious relationship in the form of conflict resolution procedures. But again, don't listen to Becky and her clothes burning ritual. There are many more aspects you can add to the relationship contract, but for sanity's sake we will stop there. But what you could put at the end of the contract is a termination clause. I know it's not something many couples want to talk about, but in this section you could add scenarios on what may lead to the end of the relationship and how to do it as healthy as possible. You could also set regular scheduled dates for revisiting and potentially revising the contract. Remember, the relationship contract should serve as a living document, meaning it's adaptable much like your relationship, and not a living, breathing abomination, much like Becky and Darren's relationship. Do I dare ask how a SMEX contract is made? So that's how you create a relationship contract. Now let's dive into the SMEX contract, shall we? Awesome. So, much like the relationship contract, a SMEX contract starts with an introduction. Begin with a clear statement of the purpose for the contract, emphasising that it is designed to ensure that all parties engaging in the activities are doing so consensually and responsibly. You can also include names and contact details of all parties involved. This section is great if you're in a polyamorous relationship. Boundaries and limits, while were briefly mentioned in the relationship contract, is a major section within the SMEX contract. This is where you would outline the boundaries, limits and specific activities that are either acceptable or off limits. This is also where you'd list your soft and hard limits. This is also the section where you would discuss safe words. If you and your boo are into kinky stuff, you should already have safe words. But even the nillas out there could benefit from having a safe word. A great system to use is the traffic light system. A section that should definitely be included is the privacy and confidentiality section. You could include provisions for maintaining the privacy of the both of you. For example, making it clear that going onto Reddit to complain about the other is a major deal breaker.
Based on real events.
Thankfully, that's not a personal experience. Anyway, another important section to include is the STD, STI status and testing. Discuss the importance of regular testing for all of them nasty bugs and set expectations for sharing relevant health information. That's another great one to have if you're in a polyamorous relationship. Contraception and protection is also another important subsection within this section, as well as who is responsible for providing and using said contraception. You should also address the use of alcohol and substances during sexual encounters, if any, and under what conditions they are acceptable. I'm not condoning it, but at the end of the day, you do you. Another major section for your SMEX contract is frequency and duration. From how often to how long for, this is something that should be discussed before each SMEXy time session. This also leads on to another section that I'll talk about in the next part of the video. Much like the relationship contract, the next two sections are pretty similar, with the dispute resolution section and the termination clause section. As I said, these two sections would be similar to the relationship contract, the difference being wording and any specific clauses or deal breakers that would pertain to your SMEX life. So is that it? So that's the vanilla version of a SMEX contract. Now let's look at what to put into a kinky SMEX contract, or at least the kinky aspects of it. Don't worry, I'm not going to go over the whole thing again. One section to add is kinks and interests. This is where you'd list and describe any specific kinks or that you both have. Be as specific as possible so as not to lead to miscommunication. This is also where you would discuss when limits and boundaries can be pushed or expanded. Another section to include in the kinkier version is safety precautions. For example, you can discuss how tight restraints will be and what to do in case of emergencies, like having EMT scissors on hand for cutting rope. Equipment and tools would also be a good section to include. This is where you would discuss specific equipment that would be used during kinky play, and also correct usage and maintenance. A major section would also be aftercare, which I mean could be a whole nother contract in itself, but for the sake of the video, this would include any activities or rituals that either of you do in order to come down from sub or dom space. Is that everything? Well, another aspect you could include is if you're in a relationship with a power dynamic, like a sub-dom relationship. With this comes new sections to add to your SMEX contract. First up, we have the relationship dynamic, obviously. This section is where you discuss your relationship and what dynamic you're in, whether that's dom-sub, an owner-pet dynamic, or even a 24/7 power exchange, or simply in the bedroom. You've also got responsibilities that both dynamics are expected to adhere to. This can include roles, duties, and responsibilities each of you may have. If you're also into using punishments and rewards within your sessions, this section would work well for you also. You can discuss what types of punishments and rewards that can or can't be used within the dynamic, and the circumstances under which they will be employed. Creating a SMEX contract can be a great step in your relationship, one that not only enhances the physical intimacy but also strengthens the emotional bond between partners. By creating a well-defined agreement, couples foster a deeper understanding of each other's needs, wishes and limits, ultimately promoting a more profound sense of trust and intimacy. In conclusion, while both a relationship contract and a SMEX contract can play a role in ensuring a healthy consensual partnership, they have different scopes and purposes, and it's up to you and your boo to figure out which is best suited for your relationship. Now, is this the end? Yes, I've now finished. And that's the video. What do you all think? Do you think a contract will suck all the love out of a relationship? Or are they the key to success? Leave a comment down below and let's have a chat about it. But anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you do, you know the score. Like, subscribe, join the Patreon, all that jazzy jazz. But until next time, keep it transparent and keep it kinky. This is Lai-Dee Flegman signing off, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye!